गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री Gurave Namaha. We are in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, Gyaneshwari, Bhavartha Deepika. That is the name of the commentary given by Gyaneshwar Maharaj on Bhagavad Gita. In general, it is called as Gyaneshwari, and those are the verses. And the explanation that he has given, that is called, and it is called Bhavartha Deepika, this Gyaneshwari. Why? Because it is told with bhav. And Deepika, the light has been thrown on the verses with feeling, with devotion, with surrender, with subjectivity. Then alone the bhav, there is no English word, equivalent English word in the dictionary which can explain the word bhav correctly. So we have to do with feeling, commitment, sincerity, surrender, etc., all put together is bhav. And we are in the 55th verse, and this 55th verse was Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato jnatva vishate tadanantaram. So, the one who knows Mam Abhijanati, the one who knows me, how? With devotion. How? Through devotion he has attained Jnana Nishtha. Jnana Nishtha means he is known the Lord to be the immanent cause and the material cause of the creation. Such a person, Jnana Nishtha means that this person loves the glory of the divine. On one hand, and on the other hand, glory means vibhuti. Vibhuti is this entire expanse. The vibhuti of the ocean is the waves. Similarly, the vibhuti of the Lord, here it is Sri Krishna, the vibhuti is his glory. He alone is expanding into all these. So this is one angle of approach, that he is loving, he loves the glory of the Lord. And what is the other side? Think. On one hand, he loves the glory of the Lord Sri Krishna, in essence. What could be the other side? Anyone from who are listening on the digital, what could be the other?
The oneness.
Oneness is already, he alone is expressing. This is from seeker's point of view, no? So here it says, he who with devotion knows me such. So what is that knows me such? He knows him as his heart, as his self, and he loves the glory of the self or the Lord. And on the other hand,
Krishna is the individual.
On the other hand, he is completely renounced to the glory. This condition has to come about. Because where is this whole expanse? one hand, I don't know, we are in 18th chapter. On one hand, yes, if you say in mind, that is okay. That is in the beginning stages. When he says Mam Abhijanati, he is the Lord everywhere. There is no other place that the Lord is not. Ishavasam idagam sarvam yat kinchet jagatyam jagat. So, what is the position of the world as we know it in the Lord? What is the position of the world from a Lord's point of view?
It is non-existent.
Nothing but him.
I alone am. Correct. The seeker is seeing it as the expanse. He is seeing only himself. See? So on one hand, the seeker, he loves the glory, and on the other hand, he is completely renounced to the glory, to the vibhuti. So what will how can these two happen at the same time? How can you do this? You are in love with someone. Some people have this statement, I love to hate, or I hate to love, or it's a love-hate relationship, something like that. So here you are not talking about hate. It is love and renunciation at the same time. Now you find out within yourself. The Lord is completely renounced, because Lord is the Atma. Atma is ever renounced from the world, isn't it? Yet the world is the expression of what? The Lord's potentiality. And therefore it is not other than the Lord. When this devotee recognizes this within himself, he is my devotee. Mam Abhijanati. And yeah.
And the devotee recognizes that it is his.
Yes, because he doesn't see the Lord as
separate.
Here the comment, here the statement is being made by the Lord. What I was talking to you is the seeker, when he has known the Lord as such, there is no difference between him and the Lord. Yeah? There is no difference. That is true devotion. Devotion is not from one to the other. In devotion, the epitome of devotion is not maintaining duality. See? So in this way, yavanchasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato jnatva vishate tadantaram. So here, where are we? 165, where are we? Here. And then having known me tattvataha, in essence, he forthwith enters into the Supreme. Okay, so this is just penultimate step where he has got no, from objectivity, that last bit of objectivity is turning into subjective abidance. So here now we are in the 166th OV. Kalpanti udaka udake रुंधिलिया वाहो ठाके तैसा आत्मेनि मिया ये के कोंदला तो पावो आपण पया ओळघे केवी वन्ही आपण पया लागे आपण पापाणी रिघे स्नाना कैसे म्हणवनी सर्व मी झाले पणे ठेले तयात येणे जाणे तेची गायात्रा करणे अद्वया मज पैजळावरील तरंगू जरी धाविन्नला सवेगू तरी नाही भूमी भागू क्रमिला तेणे जे सांडावे का मांडावे जे चालणे जेणे चालावे ते तोयची एक आघवे म्हणवनिया. So here he says, correct? So here he was telling us from the 163rd verse onwards that this state which is not the result of seeing or not seeing is my real vision. So seeing or not seeing, who will be the seer? Who will be the observer? Who will be the witness? For whom there is something called observed, something called known, something to be witnessed. That means duality is maintained. Here the Lord is clearly saying in the, where is this? Mag dekhize nana dekhize aisize dasha nipaze te te darshana maze sacho kare. What is happening here? When he is seeing yet not seeing, he is having sakshat darshan. He is having immediate, direct perception of the divine. And that perception, direct, which means there is no medium in between to create separation between him and the divine. See? And that is my true vision, the Lord is saying. O Arjuna, he retains this vision when he comes across any visible object and enjoys this state which transcends the seeing agent and the object to be seen. This is what happens, when two people fall in love. They are so much in love that they are all starry-eyed, their mind is totally only absorbed in thinking of the other. They don't worry about the traffic, they don't worry about the people, they don't worry about the street, they don't worry about hunger, thirst, sleep, no sleep, nothing. For them it's a continuous absorption in love. And that absorption, they call it as thinking of the falling in love. Nowadays people don't fall in love. You must have seen many places. They forget that it's a red light for pedestrian crossing. They have got that phone in front of them and they keep walking. They are in love with their phone. They are in love with their phone. They can't keep away from it. And they keep walking. Accident. So same way here, we can't, when hunger is there, this I explained last time, when we are hungry, we can't keep away from food. The urge is there, the desire is there, we want to become one with it, and only the satisfaction comes, our mind calms down, only when it is so intense, at that time nothing matters what is around, whether you are working or not working, or family or whatever, pain or this or that, no, only food. Single track mind. Same way, he retains his vision. Now once you have come to know, so this was, remember, previously what did he say? Where are we? Which is not the result of seeing or not seeing. So his attention is not objective, it is subjective. He is not coming to any conclusion. If he comes to a conclusion, it's an objective, he has given validity to Lord being the objectivity. So he's in the grey area. I don't know. Aham Brahmasmi, what does it mean? I don't want to say anything. I don't want to wish anything. I don't want to expect anything. It's going to be like this. Am I going to hear music? I'm going to hear Om. I'm going to see lights. Am I going to see lights? Am I going to experience some, have some ecstatic experience? No expectation. No expectation. See? So what does this mean that I am seeing, he is seeing but not seeing? And if the Lord is none other than the self that He is, and how do we know that we are the self? I. So again, this brings us to the point: I think, therefore I am, or I am, therefore thinking happens. I am, therefore thinking happens. So now, do I need the support of the I to be? The I thought. Do I need the support of the I thought to be? No. So I know I am. See? And then when he says, and which is not the result of seeing or not seeing. So I know myself without seeing. Everything in this world I know objectively. I don't know I see myself subjectively. See? And I don't see myself as I am nobody. I'm not absence. I'm not absence. I'm not nothing. See? So I am. And here he says that once you abide in this disposition, once the seeker abides in the self in this manner, this is called jnana nishtha. This is called mukti, moksha, when he is abiding. Now, once you are abiding, what were the conditions that this doorway was open to you? You know, like we have the doorway of UV rays. Sometimes on top of Melbourne, the intergalactic pathway of passage of UV rays from the atmosphere comes straight to Melbourne. And that day it shows UV very high. You have to cover yourself. Other days, sun is there but no UV. I don't know if you check on the iPhone, it shows. The iPhone. I. So same way, so what was that window because of which we were able to abide? That we renounced the world, we became subjective, and subjectivity, we kept honing into subjectivity because we were renounced to objectivity. And that is continuously being maintained, that I have to detach to the objectivity, and I have to surrender to the subject itself. And that subject I am. At this moment I don't realize because I am thinking, but my thinking is by too many ways. Let me just hone myself in. And that happens in meditation, that happens with open-eyed meditation, that can happen in the class, wherein while everything is going on, you are available to yourself. So the words are being heard, but you are with yourself. You are not dependent on the words to be. Because depending on words to be means depending on thoughts to be. If I am depending on thoughts to be the self, then what is the conclusion? I think, therefore I am. Wrong conclusion, isn't it? So once I have come to access the true me, after that what happens? After that mind clicks into activity again. And what is the mind's activity? To think. And what does it think? It goes out of the senses and the whole world is there. But what is the take of this master? What is the take of this person who has come to be the self, be the Atman, he has realized the Lord in his heart. Now, when he opens his eyes, what does he see? What does he experience? What do you experience when you wake up in the morning after a night's sleep? The same world. In general, every person thinks that it's the same world from yesterday. Then what is the difference? Some people say, I don't want to face the world. I'll remain in the bed, inside the duna. I don't want to come out. Some people have to come out under force because they got to go to a job. They have to, otherwise they lose the job. And there are few others who will wake up refreshed. And the moment eyes open, tuck, they are out of the bed. Okay, let's begin the day, full on. Yet others, they didn't sleep at night. Why? They were in tune with the self. See? So different options are there. But in general, after sleep, everyone becomes reinvigorated, rejuvenated to deal with the 18 hours, 16 hours of the day that you need to deal with. You get the energy. That energy comes in the sleep because you are very close to the sleep. We are getting there. We have got there here. And when we have got to know, now there is no sleep. You are awake and you come to yourself. Then the world becomes available because the mind clicks out. Then what? How do you see the world? Do you see the world as you saw before? Remember how we see it? How does a person in love see the world? Everything is wonderful for a person in love. For a person who hates, who dislikes, who is a complaint box, for him world is a very difficult place. It's a problematic place. It's everyone is against him. Everyone is planning against him. Everyone is out there to sue him or take advantage of him. Negative, right? This is in general, but this person, he has known the Lord, direct perception, and when the mind clicks out again, this is what is told, that, O Arjuna, he retains this vision when he comes across any visible object. Now this is 1164. He comes across any visible, retains the vision, meaning he does not forget. There's nothing to forget. Because he accessed the self, accessed the Lord without a thought. Can you remember sleep? Is a sleep something to remember? We have never thought these questions. I am also thinking while I am talking. But I challenge myself, and then my mind has to go, be open to answers. Do we know sleep? Oh, I've been sleeping from childhood till yesterday night. I slept. Yes, I go to sleep.
Depends what you mean by no.
No means cognize, know.
So it can be known without the duality. It can be known without being able to have any discernible and articulatable
Sleep. So absence can be known.
It depends what you're talking about. Absence of what?
I'm asking you. You are going without too much into it.
Yeah.
Waking, dream, and deep sleep.
Yes.
So waking is an objective world. Dream is an objective world. Absence of these two is what every common person is going through, and that is called the sleep. It is absence of everything. There is no objectivity there.
I agree. Yes.
There is no objectivity there. And yet we say, oh, I had a good sleep, as if it was an object of knowledge. We say we had a good sleep, or if I continue here for next 5 or 2, 3 hours, you say, Swamiji, we are feeling sleepy. But you have never known sleep, and yet you are articulating it that I had a good sleep, I want to go to sleep, I woke up from sleep. Isn't it? In general parlance, this is how we communicate with each other. So my point here is, even though you have never seen sleep objectively, you have never experienced sleep objectively, yet you remember it, yet you know it. Why can't you know the self that way? My question is this. So when we say, no, how can I think about the self? How can I be the one with the Lord? What will be that experience? I need some thought, I need some object, I need some experience by way of which I should know it. But sleep is not an object, yet you know it. Samadhi is not an object, yet you know it, because you come out of Samadhi, you say, I was in Samadhi. Exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. Once one is abiding in the self, abiding in the jnana, abiding in the knowledge, as given in the previous verse and in this verse, when he opens his eyes, he becomes available to the world. He doesn't forget that knowledge. He doesn't forget that knowledge. That knowledge, I am, in essence. Now, after our retreat, Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari, the last day, that picture is going in front of my eyes continuously. That everything is only a mirage. I have read it before also. I have mentioned it before also. But we interacted with that information so deeply, so intensely, that anything that is going on in the world, in the body, at the mind, at the breath, at the thought level, emotional level, intellectual level, I am able to see. Can't, because it's got no validity. How much validity do we give to the dream? 0. That much, like that feeling is there. But here, so one is 0 validity. That is from Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari. That was the approach. But here we are talking about, while moving around in this world, is our attention validating the world of names and forms and 5 elements, or is the attention continuously in tune? Another word is atonement. We have heard atonement. It is at one ment with the self that I am. We don't forget that we are a man or a woman, even though we are father, brother, daughter, sister, all the relations we are playing. But we don't forget that we are a man or a woman, isn't it? How many times you keep saying, I am a man, I am a man, I am a woman, I am a woman? Hardly. Only when you come to the class, you say, Arey yaar, I have to say, I didn't know in the class. Otherwise you have never said it. Otherwise you have never said it to yourself. You have never validated it. You have never reinforced it. You have not said, you don't affirm it. I am a man, I am a man. If you keep saying it, people will think you are doubting, they will have doubt about you, isn't it? So what we are saying is, we never had that dialogue with ourselves that we are the man. We kept playing the roles But we know in the end I am the person or I am the man. Exactly the same way. This person, once he comes and touches the essence, comes out, but he just doesn't touch the essence by fluke. He doesn't touch the essence under willpower, meaning through some mechanical exercise. When he is doing some mechanical exercise like watching the breath, doing the sandhi, or coming to, even like we did in the retreat, chanting the Om and those options, but doesn't understand the impact of the Om, what Om stands for. But he comes, just a general, I am the self. He's just catching the beginning of the Om or the conclusion of the Om or the gap between the two Oms, and he will access himself. That is all incomplete. That is not Jnana Nishtha. That is not Jnana Nishtha. See? Because in that case, if there is no, the what Om stands for, etc., is not understood, then all that will happen is Samadhi and you are out. We have to understand Om represents both the visible and the non-visible universe. Means, and in other words, the visible universe, which includes manifestation and unmanifestation, and the transcendental, the reality. Om is the symbol for both. Our Kathopanishad is taking us there. See? With this understanding, when we chant Om, and with that understanding we realize the self, then we can't help it. The mind will jump back into the world after some time. Now what will happen? How will you move around in this world? How you will move around? The entire world is the glory of the self. The entire world is the glory of the self. The entire world is the vibhuti of Atma. And that Atma is not other than the Lord, than the Bhagwan. Again, where is your attention on the Bhagwan? Is your Bhagwan only Sri Krishna who is standing in front of Arjuna? Is Sri Krishna the Narayana Chaturbhuj? Is your Sri Krishna the Sahasra Shirsha Purusha? Or is your Krishna the absolute one who is supporting all the multiplicity but transcendental, untouched by the multiplicity? What is your understanding of Krishna? He knows he is everything, and yet he is nothing. Yet he is nothing. He supports everything and nothing, and yet he is bindas. He is not. So you have to recognize yourself. That is jnana. Nishtha means abidance. We have to abide in our true nature with this knowledge. That's why we are studying the Bhagavad Gita in this manner. See? O Arjuna, he retains this vision when he comes across any visible object and enjoys this state which transcends the seeing agent and the object to be seen. And this visible object can appear both two places. Where? Visible object can appear at two places. Where? Outside. Inside and outside. Good. Outside as the physical universe and inside as the imaginary world. There suddenly you will see lights, or you will see some gods, or you will see some masters coming and blessing you. These things can happen. They can happen to you, and they do happen to many people as they are on their journey. As you refine yourself, all these things happen. See? So when when Krishna Bhagwan came, when Krishna came on the earth, he took the incarnation, all gods came to him. Someone tested him, someone played with him, even the creator, Brahmaji, he also was not convinced by, hey, this young fellow, 3, 4, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, he's playing flute and taking the cows and he's God. He's my boss. No. How can that be? I have to check him. Did Krishna go and check anyone? No. Why? Krishna's disposition. Everything is me only. But others, including gods, including the asuras, rakshasas, all of them came to him. He did not go to anyone. But he has neither hatred nor any like or dislike towards any one of them. So whichever way you come, you are not other than me, and depending upon what actions you do, equal and opposite reaction at the worldly level, and your destiny will unfold. And what is their destiny? Everyone's destiny? They all become one with Krishna. Every wave becomes one with the infinite waters. See? So some people come with devotion, some people come with hatred, some people come with anger, some people come with... What happens to us? We get affected by all these approaches of people. Why is that person behaving like this? And we can't control our emotions of love towards someone. And someone is jealous and you can say, oh my God. We keep reacting. Krishna Bhagavan is ever centered, ever integrated. Why? Because his attention is ever on the self. Ever on the self. If your attention is ever on the body that you have, the person, the male or female, then the roles will not play the role and forget it. The role will not even play the role. It will be played out. It's automatic. You're programmed that way. Hunger comes, don't get to, the food will come. What effort are you putting to digest the food? What effort are you putting to push it out of your system? Nothing. What effort you put when you miss someone and the tears come? Did you push the tear out? What effort you are putting to sneeze or to hiccup or no effort. No effort. Oh my God, when my mind becomes objectified again, then I have to remember that I am the self. My God, how will I do it? People think of the consequences beforehand and get a jumbled mind. Get there first, man. How do you fall in love? Oh, first fall in love. Isn't it? How do I swim? I want to know everything about swimming theory, and then I'll jump into water. And the teacher, what is he saying? That theory is not required. Jump into the water, you will automatically start swimming. No, but I don't want to drink water. I don't want to go under the water. But that is what is going to happen with the water once you jump into the water. You cannot remain dry. This is our lot. We want to take all the precautions. And then, after we have taken all the precautions, then I want to go into meditation. What are the precautions? The temperature should be right, my seat must be perfect, I should have taken bath, I should be wearing fresh clothes, the lamp must be lighted, the sun must be, the early morning sun rays are just basking me. What a feeling. And when all these data is there, now I will sit in meditation. Yeah, this is not meditation. This is a joke. Our meditation is at a drop of a hat, anywhere, any time, any place. Look at Dronacharya in the middle of the war. When he heard his son was killed, he left everything. He says, my purpose of life is not anymore. Why should I keep thinking of my son? I was fighting this war for... There is no purpose of fighting the war anymore. He was not fighting the war for good or bad. He wanted to, as a teacher, he is a Brahmin, he should not be fighting a war. He should be telling everyone, don't fight war. But he fought. Why? The spoils will go to my son. Because he went through a very hard life when he was young. Who? The teacher. And to take revenge. Brahmin having a feeling of revenge in his heart. He is not a sadhu then. But when now son himself is not there, he is dead. Even though he was not dead, Krishna played the game. He says, announce. And he told, because Dronacharya will not doubt Yudhishthir. And Yudhishthir screamed, Ashwatthama, the elephant, is dead. So the elephant only he could hear. Naroa Kunjaroa. Only he could hear. Ashwatthama, Naroha Kunjaroa. Nara Kunjara, the elephant. And the moment he only heard Ashwatthama, the man. Immediately left everything, sat down. In the middle of the battlefield where you are killing thousands of enemies with one shot of arrow. What is that acumen that you, at a drop of a hat, you withdraw everything, all your energies, contemplate on the divine. Why should I waste my energy here in this battlefield? For whom I was doing it, he is himself not there. Arjuna shot the arrow, finished. Not Arjuna. Who killed him? No. Drupada's son. Drupada's son. Drishtadyumna killed him. He comes and cuts it. Yeah. So same way, we able, for that will be possible only when we are living 100% every moment, So the moment you come out, you are 100% with yourself, the world is in front, the senses are seeing, the mind is interacting, but you are with you are continuing to be when the world comes, when the world is not there, it's Chinmudra. When the world is there, you maintain this, but as a witnessing consciousness. In fact, this is for some people, but truly realized masters, they continue to be that way. Because the appearance and disappearance for the world, that the master has come out of meditation and gone into meditation, this commentary is made by the people, not by the master. The saint, whether his eyes are closed, he is one with the self. Whether the eyes are open, he is one with the self. This is what is told in this. We haven't even started today. Okay. Now he says, as the sky does not slip being all persuasive, so he remains unshaken being merged with the self. So many galaxies are getting destroyed, so many things are happening in the universe. On the earth, so many houses are getting destroyed, so many missiles are going into Ukraine, so many houses are getting broken up. Is the space affected? Space continues to be space. Exactly the space. Exactly that way, the master, such a seeker, he has recognized what? He is the conscious space. He is the conscious space. He is the conscious. So just as space, conscious space not only inside here, space is everywhere. The moment we say conscious space, what should be our understanding? That the Bhutakash is a idea, the cause of Bhutakash is the Chittakash. The cause of Chittakash is the Chidakash. Chidakash is conscious space. That I am. Be that. That very moment, all the imaginations of the mind and the gross universe which is existent, all becomes internalized. Internalized meaning these are just words. Everything is the self alone. Continuing, so we have already chanted these verses. As water fills the whole earth at the time of deluge, and so does not flow, so the self who is filled with the Supreme Self remains still. See, when we see, this example came in Amrita Anubhav also. We see so many bodies of water. There is different oceans, there is different wells, there is different ponds, there is different rivers, there is different lakes, isn't it? There are creeks and rivulets and tributaries, estuaries. All these are different bodies of water having a different name. Some are fresh, some are salty. But once the deluge comes, then what happens? Everything is water. Second thing, what happens? Second thing, what happens? All specificity is lost. Individual river, individual lake, individual well, individual ocean, individual wave, individual pond, all they were having their own identity. Now there is no identity. Everything is one. And what is that one? Water. What were they before? Water. But their identity was on account of conditionings. But in the deluge, all the conditionings are dissolved or washed. Now, this is the deluge of consciousness. How beautifully he has put it across. This deluge of consciousness. All specificity. What specificity? Thoughts are specific. Concepts are specific, imaginations are specific, waker, dreamer, sleeper is specific, totality, individuality is specific, past, present, future is specific, seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, the five senses are specific, whatever their stimuli are, they are specific. All specificity is gone once and for all. That is the condition of bhaktya mam abhijanati. Or the other verse, second part, tato mam tattvato jnatva. He who knows me in essence in this manner. See, these are just one line, how much we are delving into it. This is contemplation, open-eyed contemplation. As water fills the whole earth at the time of deluge and so does not flow, so the self who is filled with the Supreme Self remains still. Now think, that river which was having individuality, and what was its journey? From the Himalayas to the ocean. Now in the deluge, what will happen to the river? Is there a movement? There's no individuality and there's no beginning and no end. No beginning and no end. So what is having beginning and end? This body has a beginning and end. Every thought has a beginning and end. Every breath has a beginning and end. Every memory has a beginning and end. And what are we talking about? The deluge of consciousness in that conscious, that Ishavasya, all these objective perceptions, they lose their potency. They lose their potency. Make yourself available to that. That tattva, that self. How can the feet go? How can the feet go in advance of themselves? How can the fire burn itself? How can water bathe in itself? Since I am all pervasive, Ishavasyamitagam sarvam, all movements of the devotee who is merged in myself stop, and this absence of movement becomes his pilgrimage to my non-dual state. Om Sahasrashirsha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapad Sabhumim Vishwato Vrutva Atyatishthadashangulam. He who knows this divine in his heart as the essence, who is the essence behind all the heads, who is the essence behind all the eyes, who is the essence behind all the feet, means nothing in this world has its own independent existence. He is the one who is independently existing. When this is recognized, now very simple. You people come for chanting, you also, or you are listening here. See how still you are within. Sometimes when we do that 1 hour of continuous chanting, our thoughts are on the Lord or the Upanishad or the Rudram or whatever your Ganapati Atharva, you can understand the meaning also. And after 1 hour of again and again and again repetition, with little bit understanding, what sense of peace prevails afterwards? And when the chanting, I just say Purnamada Purnamidam, by that time we are already internalized. We want to, our mind is naturally calm. Naturally calm. Doesn't want to get involved in the world. This is just by chanting. In satsang also same thing happens. In retreat we are allowed to move around like zombies. And we can't drive like that back home. Even though we have to be alert. Isn't it? Otherwise, in the retreat, after every class, you don't want to interact with anyone. You don't want to talk to anyone. But at the same time, if someone is talking, you can't avoid, you don't want to avoid it, because if you avoid, then he is separate to me. Again will come. So go with the flow. But where your attention is, with yourself, with the self. So just as the fire cannot burn itself, the water cannot give abhishek to itself, bath to itself. Since I am the all-pervasive, Lord Krishna is saying, since I am the all-pervasive, that means there is no place that I am not. Just like the space can easily declare, there is no place in this universe that I am not. You may not see it, that's your problem, but I am everywhere. See? I am all pervasive. all movements of the devotee who is merged in myself, all movements stop, because now there's no place to go. First he was going from outside to inside. In that journey inside, he realized that he accessed the self, or on his way to, whichever way you put it, he realized that this self, this Atma, this Atmic principle, this Lord in my heart, he is everything. And if you take it from sadhana point of view, if he is going in, we chant Narayana Suktam, Purusha Suktam, Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, Ganapati Atharva, with all these meanings. What is that? That you are up, you are down, you are inside, you are outside, you are east, you are west. Everywhere you are surrounding me. There is no place that I can exist independently. Tade jati. See? So when we are chanting that Ganapati Atharva chant, so that is not just a chant, it is to invoke this feeling that I am surrounded by Ganapati, Ganesha. Inside, outside, up, down, east, west, north, south, everywhere. So that means if he is everywhere, what I think I am is something wrong there. From a very dualistic point of view, I am totally taken care of. You become yoga kshemam vahamyam. That I am in his lap, he will take care of me. Here, we are not talking about taking care, we are not talking about objectivity. Here we are talking about that such a seeker, when he comes to this realization, his running around of that I have to realize this is still a desire, and that desire will make his mind move. Even that movement is stopped, because whether not, I don't want to just say the mind movement, because once he realizes that the self is everywhere, then he is not opposed to movement. And how he is not opposed to movement? By not being available to movement or non-movement. What movement? Manifestation. Non-movement, unmanifestation. See? Water is uninfluenced by movement of, that is, manifestation of waves or unmanifestation of waves. Over millions of years, the land masses of our continents have changed. Now we are saying Indian Ocean, Southern Ocean, Tasmanian Sea, Pacific Ocean. Once upon a time, it may be something else. They used to call it Gondwana land, and I don't know what all different names were there. That time Australia was connected to Asia. India was separate from Asia. It was in the Indian Ocean somewhere, down there somewhere, towards African, bottom of Africa. But it kept going. So that time, Indian Ocean was out there or what? So names have changed with time. But has water changed? No. So your name of various oceans is only on account of the land surrounding it. So same way here he says, I am all pervasive, all movements of the devotee who is merged in myself stop, and this absence of movement becomes his pilgrimage to my non-dual state, where there is no running towards the divine or running away from the divine. Second, there is no running towards the divine with a support. You know, like that high jumper, he runs with the pole, dips into the, raises himself. But if he holds on to the pole, he will fall on the wrong side and break bones. So what is his purpose? To cross the bar. What is that bar for us as seekers? The bar of objectivity. How do you cross that bar of objectivity? By thinking in this manner. Atmatvena. That this Atma, this Lord in my heart, He is Ishavasyamadagam Sarvam. Yat Kinchit Jagatyam Jagat, that all the entire universe is only it can't even, it's occupying only 0.0000 as if insignificant place in this whole space, conscious space. Hardly. It's just an appearance. How much space, tell me, how much space is the wave occupying on the water? None.
Minuscule.
Not even minuscule. We, for the explanation's sake, we use the word minuscule, but actually not even minuscule. It appears to be there, but actually it is only water, no? So how much space is the appearance occupying on the water? How much space, our class, how much space is the reflection occupying on the mirror? None. That much space this whole world is occupying on the consciousness. When this is realized, there is total silence. There is quietude. Then you become qualified to study Dakshinamurti Stotram. Eloquent silence. You are awake, mind is silent. Well, why should we say mind is silent? Because once silence comes about, mind is... you are not available to it. You are available to the conscious space. Because you, instead of thinking, now you are being. This is the difference. And once you be, all specificity vanishes. That is the deluge of consciousness he talked about. And this is the non-dual state. This is the ekameva dvitiya, the one without a second. Water is one without a second. Space is one without a second. This consciousness that I am is also one without a second. You can't say, I am consciousness and there is a world also. Then you are following Sankhya philosophy, spirit and matter are coexisting. Then you are not come to Vedanta. Then you are not understood the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Oh, but they say in that book or in by ISKCON or by the where duality is practiced, if you go to Udupi and all, Madhva philosophy or Ramanuja philosophy, then go and study there. You are free. We are talking about here the non-dual. We are propagating non-duality. We are not here for establishing duality. We are not here to complain about duality. We are not here to do anything with objectivity. We are here only with one purpose and one, to realize that we are essentially the non-dual principle. We are the non-dual Atma, which supports everything, rejects nothing, retains nothing. That's what we are. I am essentially. And that essence of mine and essence of you is not separate. It is one and the same. However swiftly the wave moves on water, it cannot leave the water and encroach upon the land. Huh? How beautiful. The water is saying, oh please help me. Someone is pushing me to the shore. But it is still in water. It has never, it is having, because of its individuality, it is feeling, I am being pushed, I am in competition, someone is comparing, someone is trying to kill me, someone is trying to surround me, or you all other ways are surrounding me. It's afraid of its annihilation. But if it starts from wherever in the ocean, it always remains what? Before it was water, while it is existing, it is water. After it dies, also it is water. Recognize this about yourself. Before also you were consciousness, now also you are consciousness. Once the body goes away, you will continue to be the consciousness. Why you want to wait till the body goes away? You come to the consciousness right here and now, then everything and everyone, it's a deluge of consciousness then. The place which it leaves and the place it goes to, its movement and the means of movement are nothing but water. Huh? This is for the wave we are talking about. Same thing is with you. Consciousness moving in consciousness. Mind is, what is mind? When we say Atma is supporting the intellect, mind, what is mind made up of? Consciousness alone. But what is this consciousness which the mind is made up of? What is the predominance there? Objectivity, specificity, right? But it is consciousness. When there is no objectivity and no specificity, it is pure consciousness. That is happening to us every night when we go to sleep. We are trying to bring that about consciously. Now, the methodology and the technique which takes you to sleep is not enough, because you may go into samadhi. We want to realize once and for all that our true nature. For that, then we have to follow this type of approach. See, whatever we follow in studies or in the world, some residue of understanding is left behind, some memory is left behind, some conclusion is left behind. What is the conclusion? I ate food. Now what is the conclusion? I am not hungry anymore. Right? Will you say I am not bound anymore after once you are abiding in the self? No. So this wonderful approach of Vedanta, it does not give you any conclusion. That's why people are afraid of it. That's why people are not able to grasp it. What? There's no result. Then why should I study? You're saying something? Late, okay. You're understanding? This is the basic difference between all other philosophies and Vedanta. There's no conclusion only. There's no result. Because this Vedanta, the self, is not a product of anything. It looks like as if we are contemplating to come there. We are doing all this contemplation only to checkmate the mind. And where you have checkmated the mind itself was consciousness. Mind becomes silent. So how do you checkmate your mind? You can do it forcefully. Through pranayam, through japa, you can do it. You can checkmate it. Vaikari madhyama pashyanti para. Dharana, dhyan, samadhi. But that is not going to give us this all-encompassing direct vision of the consciousness that I am. For that, this approach is required. Non-conclusive conclusion. See. So when you say mind is consciousness, then the thoughts moving in the mind, what are they?
Phenomena.
if mind is consciousness, consciousness with thoughts is called mind. Then what are thoughts?
Consciousness itself.
Yes, the thoughts are nothing. What is the material which has gone into making them? What is the material which has gone into making the waves on the water? What is pushing the wave? Water. Where are the waves getting absorbed into? Water. What are they arising from? Water. Right?
Yes.
See the wonderfulness. Same way, it will totally transform. So every thought is divine in nature. From this point, there is no thought anyway. But what happens to us? When we are in front of a master, every word is a divine word, isn't it? People used to sit in front of Ramana Maharishi. Every word that he uttered, people used to write it out. Because nothing was wasted. It was not a wasteful conversation. There's no word which was spoken by him just for the heck of it. There's always, because it's coming from there. Paramacharya Chandrasekhar Saraswati from Kanchipuram, not one wasteful word. This is how the great masters are perceived by the people, by the world. Why? They have realized. So every word coming out of their mouth is divine. Is divine. It's because it's coming from awareness, consciousness, whatever. If you can have that, yeah, but don't do anything to, no, I want my words to be as powerful as, no. You come back to yourself. You be the reality. Continuing, क्या time हो गया? 71. गेलिया ही भलते उता उदकपणे पंडुसुता तरंगाची एकात्मता न मोडेची जेवी तैसा मी पणे हा लोटला तो आघवे याची मजा आतू आला या यात्रा होय भला कापडी माझा आणि शरीर स्वभाव वशे काही एक करू जरी वैसे तरी मीची तो तेणे मिशे भेटे तया तेथ कर्म आणि करता हे जाऊनी पंडुसुता मिया आत्मेनी मज पाहता मीची होय पै दर्पणा ते दर्पणे पाहिलिया होय न पाहणे सोने झांकिलिया सुवर्णे न झांके जेवी. He says again the Vishwam Darpana is coming, the mirror example is coming. And what is he saying here? He says, whenever the wave moves, it is all water, and so the oneness of the wave with the water remains undisturbed. So your oneness of the consciousness. So when we are using the words, this is for our understanding as seekers. The oneness of the wave and the water. Wave, specificity, water, unspecificity. Never remains undisturbed. That connection is always there. And what is this connection? It's a connectionless connection, isn't it? Same way. The specificity. What is specificity? Seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, thinking, ideating, imagining, conceptualizing. All this is specific. And what is the non-specific? The consciousness. They are ever connected. Like I explained before, mind is nothing but consciousness. On the consciousness, the wave is coming. See? So on the woman, the mother is coming. On the woman, the wife is imagined. On the woman, the daughter is imagined. Wife is imagined. So can they ever be disconnected? You are both and you are nothing. You are supporting both. Manifestation and unmanifestation, you are supporting because you are the substratum. If you see, so same way consciousness is all that is, and therefore here he says, so when he starts from the state of oneness with me and again returns to me, this is what our Amrutanubhav explains. So what is happening? When he starts from oneness with me and he starts from there, the mind opens up, he looks at the world, and where does he go? You go into the world? No, the moment he looks at the world, he comes back to me. This is what the Shiva and Parvati relationship is. Shiva is meditating, he is abiding in consciousness. Parvati is there or not there, he doesn't care. He is meditating on Narayana. He is meditating on Rama. Then Parvati is his wife. She says, this fellow is not giving me attention. What is Parvati? Prakriti. What is Prakriti? Trigunatmika. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. When Shiva is not looking at her, she is unmanifest. So to get attention from him, she starts manifesting. How does she manifest? Not out of arrogance. Why is she manifesting? She wants his attention. She wants his attention. And as she starts manifesting, Shiva starts opening his eyes. And as he opens his eyes, she gets even more inspired. Yeah, he's looking, and she keeps expanding. And when she is fully expanded, he says, wow, this is my wife. This is my potentiality. This is my other half. Wow, this is what my capacity of my wife is. In that sense, potentiality is. Where does he go back? The moment he looks at that wonderful beauty, he does not get attached to the beauty. He goes back to the self, because that beauty came from the self in the form of potentiality. That potentiality, because of his presence, by the nature of the potentiality is to manifest or unmanifest. So when she manifested, he became available to it. He has no choice. His eyes will open when she manifests. Your eyes will open when you wake up. You cannot be walking around with closed eyes. You can try for some time. So the moment she manifests, he will wake up. He's got no choice, because he's existing because of her. He's got form because of her. We are not talking about Paramashiva. As Shiva, he is Shiva because there is Shakti. If there is no Shakti, he is the absolute. You understand? So when he looks at that beauty, where does he go back? Again goes back to himself, to the Lord in his heart. Now same, exactly. This is the first chapter of Amrutanubhav, Shiva Shakti Samavesh. So exactly the same way. The great masters, realized masters, liberated masters, who are abiding, who are the consciousness, who are abiding in the consciousness, when they look at the world, that very moment, not afterwards, that very moment, they come back to the conscious principle. So and that is given in our story of Dattatreya. When Dattatreya is lying down under a tree, the king comes and asks, hey, you're a young man, why you're wasting your time, youth in being a lazy and unproductive, sitting here under the tree. He doesn't say anything. Comes next day, he is still sitting. Third day, he is still sitting. And then the king realizes that he is not an ordinary person. Then he says, please teach me. And what does he teach? He gives him the knowledge of 24 gurus. What did I learn? Sitting here, there only under the tree. I learned from the tree. I learned from the birds on the tree. I learned from the ant. I learned from the pigeon. I learned from the traveler. I learned from the wind. I learned from the sun. In other words, there he has given 24 teachers. And what did those teachers teach him? They are objective. But every object, wherever his attention lying there, his attention goes to the bird. Looking at the bird, immediately come back to the conscious principle. He looks at the sun, he has no choice, it is there. Eyes there, come back to the self, again back to the self. This is just for explanation's sake. Probably he never even went away from there. He never went away from the consciousness. He is continuously being the consciousness. But for us as a seeker, if every word here, every verse in Bhagavad Gita is able to bring us back to the conscious principle, it is a good thing. So there when he talks about 24 teachers, in other words, he is saying that you have the opportunity to access, to be the consciousness and make every stimuli your teacher. Make every stimuli. So what is the realization of the student? When does the student become the guru? When does the student become the guru? When he
Doesn't see the difference between the guru and himself.
okay, but what is the result in that sense? He discovers the guru outside,
Who's the guru?
in the within. See? So the guru outside, is the guru outside only the form? He cannot discover. Yes, you can imagine a picture, but it is still objective, isn't it? In the devotion and all that works. But here, he discovers the guru as his own essence. He discovers the Lord as his own essence. See? This is the one. This is the way to discover. You are already that. And once he discovers the guru in his, then what will he do? Continue being the student. Gyaneshwar Maharaj, he is the student of his elder brother, Nivrittinath. He is continuing being the student. He doesn't show that, hey, teacher, you have never given lectures. I am giving lectures. I am influencing so many people. I have done a greater job than you have. So you fall at my feet now. I am a greater guru. Did he say that? No. He continues to maintain the respect, reverence, recognition that all this knowledge is because of his teacher.
It's like Ramakrishna and Vivekananda.
Yes. It's not only that, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. That is the parampara. Sadashiva samarambham Shankaracharya madhyamam Asmadacharya paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. This is the parampara. From teacher to student, teacher to student, teacher to student. You think only Shankaracharya was the realized master? After that, many have come. Many have come within that lineage. But he was the first one. And before Shankaracharya, who was there? Lord Shiva was there. And who is Lord Shiva meditating on? Narayana. So when he starts from the state of oneness with me, हो गया time? 2 minutes, we'll conclude. So when he starts from the state of oneness with me and again returns to me, then this movement of his constitutes his pilgrimage and he becomes my pilgrim. So which means from everything in the world, every interaction in the world, because the senses and the mind are still there, when whatever these senses and mind are interacting with is reminding him of the conscious principle, it's taking him back to being the support, taking him back to being the consciousness which is by nature pervasive. As a seeker we are talking here. So here Krishna is saying that he becomes my pilgrim. Pilgrim is moving through this world but ever contemplating on the Lord. The Wari, the Kavadi, so many. You go to that, what is that, France to Portugal they go, what is that called? Camino trail. That is all pilgrimages. What do you do throughout the way? Keeps telling bad words to everyone. No, they chant the name of the Lord. People go from all the villages from Andhra, Maharashtra, Karnataka, they go towards Pandharpur. Jai Jai Rama Krishna Hari, Jai Jai Rama Krishna Hari. Millions and millions and millions in 1.5 months they cover that and they reach there, have the darshan and then go back. Millions from all over India nowadays are going to Sabrimala.
Yes.
It's a pilgrimage. It's a pilgrimage. So while not only when you reach there, you are there, even while you are on the journey, you are at one ment with the divine, which is your nature. There, they are inspired to go to the temple. Here, we are inspired to come back to being the conscious principle. And therefore, no going or coming is required. Eventually, it leads to stillness. That stillness is not at the physical, it's with inner stillness, which is undisturbed by coming and going. And that's the pilgrimage. If he performs any action according to his disposition, I myself go to meet him under the pretext of that action. So if he performs any action, if a realized master thinks of food, the Lord says, I only go as food to fulfill him. If he wants to see, he only goes as to fulfill that color and form. See, this part, each one has to experiment in their life. My experiment is going for last 25, 26 years. How everything is taken care of. Because there is no demand. You understand? There is no demand. There is no desire. And where there is no desire, if sometimes a desire does pop up, he takes care of it. Because he only appeared as that desire. There is no owner of it. If it was needed, it comes. He is the prompter. We never choose to be that it is my desire, I want to do this, I don't want to do this. And if he has desired, then he will fulfill it also. Because he is everything. Because he is everything. There is no place he is not. This, you have to live in abandonment in life. We live with too much fear. We live with too much permutation combinations. We live with too much security. You have to live with abandonment. Uske liye, what do you need for that? Courage. You need courage.
Courage to be.
Huh?
Courage to be.
Courage to
be.
to
To be.
to be.
To be.
Yeah. Correct. Otherwise, how will you begin this inward journey? We have come far. In a retreat, we went even further. But even more to be. To be requires even more courage. It requires strength, inner strength, atmic strength, atma bala, which expresses as self-confidence, which expresses as I can, I will, whatever, knowing fully well that it is not I can nor I will, it is all His will. And that, when I say His will, that Him and the self that I am are one and the same. It's a unique approach. There's nothing like it in the world. Quickly we conclude. I myself go to meet him under the pretext of that action. In this state, O Arjuna, the distinction between the deed and the doer disappears, and seeing me in himself, he becomes one with me. If a mirror sees into another mirror, it is no seeing at all. Or if a gold is covered with gold, it is not covered at all. These 2-3 examples, we'll look into it in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Just sit quietly for a moment.